Hi there, my name is Jewel, and I'll be bringing us through a light, gentle, moving practice so we can drop down to the mat and enjoy the practice of Yoga Nidra, a guided, scripted meditation. Yoga Nidra loosely translates to yogic sleep, and we aim to reach this place of consciousness that resides between the waking state and the dreaming state. So we aim to be fully relaxed, but also aware at the same time. The practice of Yoga Nidra asks us to bring our intention to different parts of our consciousness through our body, our breath, our mentality, emotions, so we can drop into the true self and begin to associate with our true selves instead of our ego. So instead of dissolving the ego entirely, we're allowing ourselves to watch our thoughts, watch ourselves from an objective standpoint, so we can use this information for later meditation, for later intention, and to discover who we really are at our core selves. So we'll start by moving ever so little, just to open the body, work out some of the kinks, work out some of the yuckies in the body so we can really find comfort. So we will spend maybe 15 minutes moving. We'll spend a little bit of time dropping down, getting comfortable, perhaps with some props in a restorative position. And then I will read you a script as you soak it all up, just relax and find your constructive rest, aiming for that place of consciousness to help us realize and unite with our true selves. This is an ever coming process, not a single process. So I do encourage you to explore different scripts, different instruction of Yoga Nidra. So if this is your first time practicing, please just keep in mind there's no incorrect way to do this practice, as long as you're approaching it with courage and with the intention of healing and helping yourself. Yoga Nidra will work. So let's start first in a comfortable seat. I will take my blanket, like it comes off, and place it right underneath my hips behind me. If you'd like a little more height, I'm actually going to fold this blanket twice. You can always sit on a bolster or a block or even a chair. Once we find this comfortable seat, we'll rock side to side a couple of times to let the hips and the knees start to get heavy, and we'll start to elongate the spine. Option to bring the hands somewhere on the body, maybe palms facing up or down. And if you have a favorite mudra, maybe you'd like to place the hands over the heart, maybe Anjali prayer mudra, lotus mudra, opening the fingers, anything that feels powerful and good to you this morning. And we'll take a moment and just sit taller than you already are, maybe by a centimeter, maybe by a full inch. We'll lift the chin slightly, roll the shoulders back and down slowly a couple of times in one direction, and then reverse those circles in the opposite direction, letting the shoulders release away from the ears, maybe sensing if there's any parts that might feel crunchy this morning. And then we'll find stillness, invitation to gaze down at the floor, maybe close the eyelids entirely. And we'll start to tune in, noticing if any body parts are talking to you, and noticing the quality of your breath at this moment. Imagining our spine as the axis to our universe, can you connect this plumb line as if a straight line was going straight down your spine? You're being pulled up from the crown of your head as your sit bones and your hip bones are dense and heavy and grounding you to the earth. We'll take 2 breaths here together, inhaling slowly through the nostrils, Hold it at the top for a moment. Release the tension from the shoulders. Exhale out the mouth. Sigh. One more like that. Inhale through the nostrils. Hold it at the top. Sip in a little bit more air. Drop the shoulders. Exhale. Stick out the tongue. Sigh it out. This time we'll lift the arms overhead. Maybe gaze up at the ceiling. As you exhale, right arm will fall down to the earth. Left arm reaches over the left ear. We'll take a few breaths here, so feel free to explore. Maybe you press into that right arm to open the chest to the sky. Maybe you let the elbow bend and curl the heart towards the ground. Wherever you are in movement or stillness, we'll try to ground the left knee and the left hip and let the head remain long, maybe rocking it from side to side, but not allowing it to fall entirely to the right. We'll take one more inhale, reach the left fingers as far as they can reach. On the exhale, use the abdomen to lift the torso upright, both arms to the sky. We'll use the length we just created and twist to the left. Right arm forward, left arm back. Continue reaching from the collarbones through the fingertips. Maybe you let the hands fall to one knee and behind you. As you inhale, create length, get tall. As you exhale, twist, maybe gazing past left shoulder. One more breath in this twist, letting the shoulders relax. Exhale, gaze behind you. Using the abdomen to inhale the torso back up right, arms to the sky. This time we'll drop that left arm as we reach the right arm along towards that side wall. Again, take this opportunity to explore, maybe kickstanding that bottom arm, turning the heart to the sky, or maybe closing the heart off towards the ground, reaching the fingers more towards the floor. Take a couple of breaths here. Maybe you find a spot to stay in stillness, or maybe it feels good to move ever so slightly and slowly. One more inhale to reach the right fingers to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Exhale to press up using the abdomen strength to lift the arms high. We'll take one inhale to gaze up, reach the fingertips. As you exhale, twist to the right, left arm forward, right arm back, finding a big, long twist. Grounding the knees, relaxing the quads. Take an inhale to reach in opposite directions. Keep the arms where they are, or maybe drop left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. As you inhale, let the spine grow, let the crown of the head reach to the sky. Exhale, twist, gaze past the right shoulder. One more full, deep, slow inhale. Maybe open the mouth, sigh it out, release. As you inhale, reach the arms up over the head, straighten the torso to center. Exhale to plant the hands in front of you. We'll either roll over the knees or sit off to one hip and find a tabletop position. You can take your blanket off to the side, as we might use it later for a restorative pose. Find the shoulders somewhere over the wrists and the hips somewhere over the knees. We'll take a couple of cat-cows, first inhaling, letting the belly drop, stick the tailbone up, gaze to the ceiling. Spread the fingers out wide. As you exhale, press through the hands to reach the spine, arching towards the ceiling, gaze at the navel. We'll take two more rounds on your own breath. Let your inhale guide the belly to drop and gaze up. Exhale to press through the hands, letting the shoulders come away from one another on the spine. Gaze at the navel, maybe shift the weight forward. One more, maybe bend the elbows this time, scoop the chest down to raise up, let the heart shine forward. Exhale to press into the hands, arch the spine, gaze underneath you. We'll meet at a neutral spine, letting the back get long and straight, like someone's pulling your hips behind you, and at the same time, pulling your head forward, elongating that space between hips and neck. We'll take a thread the needle here. Left hand will stay where it is. Right arm will reach towards the ceiling, opening the chest. Exhale to thread the needle underneath the left armpit. Reach the right fingers all the way to the left. Maybe the cheek drops down to the mat. Maybe you place a block or a blanket underneath the head for some support. And we'll be here for 2 breaths, intentionally pulling this left hip back to meet the right. Maybe you raise the left arm and bring a couple of big circles or even a bind, flipping the palm and bending the elbow. One more breath to ground, to release. If we bound that left hand, we'll bring it back to where it came from. Pour the weight into the left hand as you press the body up, opening the heart, opening right arm. We'll bring that right hand back to where it came from and take one little cat-cow movement to reset the spine and find a neutral pose before we find neutral tabletop, and take our thread the needle to the opposite side. Left arm rises, open the heart. Exhale, thread the needle under right arm. Again, maybe the head finds a prop. Bring the floor a little closer, and we'll intentionally scoot the right hip back to the back of the mat. Any variations you'd like to take, circles with the top arm, maybe a bind by snuggling the fingers into left hip crease. Take one more full inhale here. Exhale slowly. Release that right arm. If it's bound or raised, pour your weight into that hand as you lift the chest, open the heart to the sky, raise the left arm. Exhale, plant it back to where it came from. This time we'll keep the left knee where it is, keep the hands planted into the ground, fingers spread wide, and we'll lift the right knee about hip height. We'll take big circles with the kneecap in both directions, going super slow, just sensing anything that your right hip joint is speaking at you. If you haven't changed directions yet, take a couple of big circles, and we'll step the right hand on the outside of right foot, toes facing forward. We'll crawl the hands up to the right knee, start sinking into this left hip to find a nice stretch down the hip flexor. Option to keep the hands on the knee, maybe bring the hands to heart center or raise them up to the ceiling, inviting a small back bend. As you inhale, hug the thighs together, feel that muscle activation. As you exhale, sink the hips towards the ground. One more breath to lift the fingers, lift the gaze. Exhale to shift the hips back, straighten the front leg, and maybe flex those toes back towards the face. We'll shift forward on the inhale, starting to fold over ourselves. Exhale, release the hands to the earth. Release the head towards the big toe instead of towards the navel. We'll continue reaching in this Ardha Hanumanasana, this half split. Option to explore how it feels to wave the right foot side to side, maybe planting the toes. Again, finding stillness or movement as this is your practice. One more inhale to lift the heart. Exhale to fold. We'll plant the right toes, bend into that right knee, bring the hands to the earth, tuck the left toe, lift the knee off the ground for your low lunge. Left hand will plant, right arm will reach up towards the sky. Pull the right hip down to meet the left as you extend the right arm as high as your fingers can reach. One more inhale, maybe gaze at the right thumb. As you exhale, send the right hand down, step the right foot back to plank position. As you inhale, lower the knees. As you exhale, we'll find a cow pose, dropping the belly, gazing up. Inhale, press into the hands, reversing the normal airflow we usually take to cat. And we'll land in a child's pose, releasing the toes, releasing the hips down to the earth. Bring the forehead to the mat. Option to keep the hands relatively passive, or maybe you start reaching the fingers towards the front of your mat, pressing the hand into the earth so much that the elbows start to lift. Maybe you feel some muscles start to activate throughout the body. One more inhale, hips reach back, fingers reach forward. Exhale, release your air out the mouth. We'll shift up to tabletop position, hips rising above the knees. This time, right knee will stay where it is. Lift left knee about hip height. We'll start to controllably bring big circles into that left knee. Super slow, feeling out the whole range of motion. And then we'll switch directions, letting the leg find its motion, letting the hip speak to you if needed. After a couple of circles, we'll plant the left foot on the outside of left hand, toes face forward. Crawl yourself up to this left knee, and we'll start to sink the right hip down towards the ground. Option to keep the hands where they are, press them together at heart center. Maybe reach up in the shape of a V, pinkies facing one another. Let the shoulders drop. As you inhale, open the chest, lift the heart. As you exhale, sink the hips towards the mat. We'll take one more breath, lift the fingers, lift the heart, maybe a back bend. Exhale to shift the hips back as you straighten the front leg. Flex the left toes towards the face. Inhale to reach forward as you hinge from the hips. Exhale to release the hands to the earth, knowing you can find support of blocks or props here. We'll pull the left hip down and back to find maximum sensation in the hamstring. We'll take 2 breaths, inhaling to lift, exhaling to reach the head towards the front of the mat. Maybe you find some waves of the foot, or just bring new sensation into the feet or the legs as needed. After your next exhale, we'll plant the left toes, bend into left knee. Let the hands find either side of that left foot. Tuck the right toes, lift the knee, finding your low lunge. Right hand plants, left arm reaches up to the sky. We'll take 2 breaths here, pressing that left hip down, strengthening the back leg. One more inhale to reach the left fingers to the ceiling. Exhale to plant the left hand as we step the left foot back to plank position. Inhale to puff up the chest, gaze forward. Exhale to lower the knees. Inhale, let the belly drop, find your cow. On your exhale, press into the hands, find your cat. As you inhale, lengthen the spine to a neutral spine, straighten spine. Exhale, untuck the toes, let the hips rock back, chest drops to the earth, forehead finds the mat. Take a full inhale here. Let your exhale release no longer needed tensions. we'll slowly start to find our way to our back to set up for Yoga Nidra. You can take your typical Shavasana by extending entirely on the ground, letting the legs get long, letting the arms get long, and letting the head find center, taking up space in this starfish position. And if you'd like to use a few props, I will offer you a restorative heart opener that you can take Yoga Nidra practice in. If you'd like to explore this new restorative shape, we'll use 2 blocks and a bolster for our base. And we'll create a little structure here, taking our first block to either the low or medium height, and the top block to either the medium or high height. So we'll have 1 block, 1 level lower than our highest block. You can either take it at its lowest and medium, or medium and highest. From here, we'll take this bolster and prop it on the blocks, just like a little structure, taking your time to really set up so you don't have to do this later if it falls down. Then we'll take our 2 extra blocks right on the side of each, one on each side of the bolster. We'll take our blankets once again, and we'll make little bubbles. So if your blanket is in this shape, we'll fold it in half and in half again to create a little bubble. We'll do that with 2 blankets and place them on either side of your mat. From here, we'll set our hips right up against the base of this structure of the bolster, plant the feet on the earth, and release the back onto the bolster. If you're taller than I am and your head sticks off the bolster, maybe you bring a pillow or a blanket underneath your head for a little more comfort. We'll take those bubbles that we created with the blankets, walk the feet in as much as comfortable, and open the knees so they can place right on top of those blankets. These 2 extra blocks or for your elbows. So we'll bring them right underneath your elbows, taking our time again to set up. So whatever it is that you need, whether it's socks or a sweater, maybe an eye mask to keep you relaxed, I'll give you a few moments here. Take your time and find a comfortable position that you will feel happy to be in for at least 30 minutes. So you go ahead and get settled. I will sit up and face you. There's many different positions we can take for Yoga Nidra, but a supine position is preferred, so we don't have to use our muscle strength at all to get comfortable. We want the floor to hold us. We want to be supported by our props. We want to feel comfortable. Maybe get 10% more comfortable than you already are. Feel free to fidget, adjust your blanket, adjust your clothing or your hair, and make sure that you can practice Yoga Nidra with no physical discomfort. The practice of Yoga Nidra is the act of hearing and the act of feeling. In Yoga Nidra, you function on the level of awareness plus the level of listening. In dreams, you don't have control of your thoughts, of your actions, but in Yoga Nidra, you are the creator of this dream. Say to yourself mentally now, I will not sleep. I will only listen. I will not sleep. I will only listen. Take a deep inhale through the nostrils. Sigh it out the mouth, letting your body start to get heavier. If you feel that you're prone to falling asleep during a relaxation, maybe you make it a point to every so often make a fist with your fingers and then releasing once or twice to keep yourself awake. Another way you can do this is to rub the thumbs and the index fingers together every so often just to keep you awake. If you're on the other side of that spectrum and feel that you can't fully relax, that your mentality will be chattering this entire time, I can offer you a tool of a mantra. That mantra is so hum, meaning I am. So means I, and hum means am. So anytime you sense that overwhelm, that extensive mental chatter, maybe you remind yourself, I am. Simple as that. If you haven't yet, please close your eyes and we'll keep them closed for the remainder of this practice. We'll start to become aware of sounds in the distance. Become aware of the most distant sounds that you can hear. Let your sense of hearing operate like a radar beam, searching for far out distant sounds and following them for a few seconds. Move your intention from sound to sound without trying to identify the source or get caught up. Gradually bring your intention to closer sounds. Sounds inside of the room that you're in. Sounds maybe inside of your own body. And we'll develop awareness of the room that you are in. Without opening your eyes, visualize the four walls, the ceiling, the floor, your body lying on the floor. And you become acutely aware of the existence of your physical body lying on the floor. Total awareness of your body in perfect stillness. Total awareness of all of the physical meeting points between your body and the floor. Become aware of the natural breath, that spontaneous natural breath, the coolness of the inhale, the warmth of the exhale. Just keep listening to the sound of my voice and know that you are breathing. We'll start the practice of Yoga Nidra now as you mentally say to yourself, I am going to practice Yoga Nidra. I will not sleep. I am going to practice Yoga Nidra. I will not sleep. If at any point you do feel like you have to move, you have to fidget, I challenge you to remain in stillness. If fidgeting seems necessary, please let yourself move. Let yourself get more comfortable, only to drop back into that stillness, to keep the body comfortable for the practice. Don't worry if you don't hear everything I say or if you fall asleep. The deepest part of yourself is always listening, and the practice of Yoga Nidra is bound to work. At this moment, you will make your resolve, your intention, your sankalpa. Your sankalpa will be very simple and try to discover it naturally. It's a short, positive, simple statement in your native language, and you'll state it to yourself 3 times, feeling emphasis, confidence, and positivity. The resolve you make during Yoga Nidra is bound to come true in your life. For example, I am patient on my healing journey, or my body is getting healthier. Dig deep for your sankalpa and repeat this to yourself 3 times. Develop awareness of the whole body. Become aware of the space in the room occupied by your body. Become aware of the body on the floor and your body in relation to the floor. Become aware of the meeting points of the body, your props, the mat. Feel the points that meet, starting with your heels. Ask your heels to relax and bring intention to the calves. Let that intention rise to the hamstrings, the backs of the thighs, and bring your awareness to the glutes resting on the floor, letting the hips relax and get heavy. Let that intention rise to the spine, the low back, the middle back, and the upper back. And bring intention to the whole shoulder, the backs of the shoulder. Bring intention to the backs of your arms and the elbows. Bring intention to the backs of the hands, all 10 fingers in their natural curl. Maybe you make a fist with the fingers. Release the hands out, spreading the fingers like the sun. And then ask the fingers to just relax. We'll bring our intention to the back of the neck. Maybe rocking the head side to side slightly to settle in center. Bring intention to the back of the head. Bring intention to where the backs of the ears meet the head. And bring intention to the crown of the head. Become aware of the whole backside of the body, lying on the floor, feeling held, feeling comfortable. And we'll bring intention to the front of the body. Starting with the toes, bring intention to the big toes, the second toe, the third, the fourth toes, and the baby toes. Maybe you give them a little wiggle and ask them to be still, to relax, to just be. Bring intention to the tops of the foot. Maybe you feel the air or any wind touching that skin. Bring intention to the ankles. Maybe you flop the feet in and out. Let them find center and just relax. Bring intention to the shins, to the kneecaps, to the thighs and the quads. Bring intention to the pelvis and the hip bones, the frontal hip points, Let that intention rise towards the belly button, the middle of the body, connecting upper and lower bodies. Bring intention to the belly. Bring intention to the rib cage, where the lungs are held for a space of breath. Let that intention rise to the heart space. Bring the intention up towards the chest, into the collarbones. Let the collarbones start feeling like they're expanding, like they're opening to open your heart. Bring intention to the tops of the shoulders. Maybe you give them a little shake. Ask them to relax. Intention into the armpit. Bring that awareness to the tops of the arms and the lower part of the forearms. Bring intention to the tops of the wrists. Maybe you roll the wrist once in each direction and then ask it to relax. Bring intention to the tops of the hands, to the thumbs, to the pointer fingers, the middle fingers, the ring fingers, and the pinkies. Maybe you give your fingers a little wiggle and ask them to relax, remaining in their natural curled state. We'll bring our intention back to our heart and let it rise towards the neck. Bring intention to the jaw, to the whole mouth. Open the mouth wide to release the jaw. We'll purse the lips together. Ask the lips to relax, bringing your awareness to the top lip and to the bottom lip. Then to the tongue, resting easy inside of your mouth. Notice the small space between the lips, or maybe the slight sensation of the lips touching. Bring intention to the nose, maybe you give it a wiggle. Intention to the cheeks. Intention to the ears. And intention to the eyes. Bring intention to the eyelids, asking them to relax, maybe blinking them once or twice. Now bring intention to the eyebrows, the forehead, and that space between the eyebrows, that space of our third eye center, the location of intuition, of wisdom, and concentrate on that space. Withdraw your mind and concentrate on this space in front of your closed eyelids. Imagine before you a transparent screen through which you can see infinite space, a space that extends as far and as wide as the eyes can see. Let it be dark, let it be empty, and become aware of any phenomena that manifests within it. Whatever you see is the manifesting state of your mind. Continue your awareness of this space, but try not to become involved, practicing detached awareness. Bring your intention to this inner space, space you see behind the forehead. Watch it carefully for any colors or patterns that may emerge. There is no effort, You are just watching, total awareness of watching with no involvement. Continue watching this space and become aware of any images or spontaneous thoughts that emerge. Just become aware. Come back to your own body. Go to your body and become aware of the prana or life force that drives you. That life force that comes in the form of heat, our heartbeat, our breath. Become aware of the sensation of your prana, your energy, experiencing prana as heat, as vitality through the whole body. Try to notice your physical body as distinct and energetic, an entire energy machine, breathing in, breathing out, radiating energy, radiating heat, a vital, energetic, physical body. Become aware of your own self. Look to yourself. Maybe you look at yourself like you would look in the mirror. Or maybe you look at yourself like I would look at you, or like a friend or loved one would look at you. Look at your own self from different angles, from the front, from the right, from the left, from the top, from below. Maybe like a little drone, you make circles around yourself, just watching, noticing you. Find out your own aura and see and notice whether it is yellow, golden, pink, red, blue, white. Notice any symbols, the consistency. Notice the energy around your body. What does it look like? What does it feel like to look at? Notice your aura. We'll return the awareness to the body, being in a comfortable position. If you need to fidget or readjust, please do. And find yourself completely relaxed. We'll take a few deep breaths and begin to let go of tension on each exhale. Each inhale brings you more relaxation, more calmness. Each exhale lets you sink into your props just a little bit more. Allow your body to let go and remain still. Continue listening to the sound of my voice, letting your mind become quiet. Imagine a staircase in front of you with a door at the bottom, with a bright light shining from the bottom, the sides, and the top. you'd like to enter this door, descending this staircase, imagine these 10 steps, maybe steps in your house, steps in your favorite movie, imaginary steps you just made up. Imagine what they look like, how deep they are. Is there a railing? What does the door at the bottom look like? What color is it? How big is the doorknob? Are there any patterns or symbols on the door? Let it take whatever shape you begin to see. And as we breathe, we'll descend this staircase. It'll take you to your quiet place, your happy place on the other side of that door. Inhale, descend the first step, count 10. Exhale, descend to 9. Inhale, descend to 7. And so on. Continue counting as you reach the bottom of the step, gazing towards that door. As you begin to get more comfortable, more relaxed, your mind is still awake and alert, and you are more at ease. When you reach the bottom step, reach out to that door and let it open for you. Behind that door is your happy place, your special place. Imagine what's there in front of you. Your best friend, a cup of coffee, your pet, maybe a place you've been on vacation, maybe your best friend's house or your childhood home, maybe a place you make up. Soak in the beauty and serenity and take a few moments to experience the peacefulness, the tranquility, and the never-ending compassion that radiates in this place. When you're ready, invite your inner advisor to join you in this special place. Just allow an image to form that represents your inner advisor, a wise, kind figure who knows you well. Let it appear in any way that comes and accept it for now. It might come in the shape of a wise old woman or man or person, a friendly animal or bird, a ball of light, a friend or relative or loved one, maybe a religious figure. Maybe it's a piece of nature, a big, tall tree, the ocean, or a soft creek in the woods. Maybe a sense of peacefulness with no visual image at all. Maybe a color. Whatever it is, you'll be able to sense its caring for you and its wisdom. Invite them to be comfortable there with you and ask their name. Accept whatever comes. Whenever you are ready, ask a question to your internal advisor. Take all the time you need to do this and listen carefully to your inner advisor's response, just as you would to a wise and respected teacher. You may imagine your advisor talking with you, maybe a direct sense of message, or maybe an indirect message of symbols and feelings. Allow them to communicate with you in whichever way seems natural. If you are uncertain about the meaning of this advice, or maybe you have more questions, continue this conversation, be open to the responses, and consider the words or sensations carefully. As you consider what your inner advisor has told you, imagine what your life would be like if you took that advice and put it into action. Did you see any problems or obstacles standing in the way? If so, what are they? And how might you deal with them? If you need some help, ask your advisor, who is always there for you. When the time seems right, thank your inner advisor for meeting with you. And let your inner advisor remind you that you can call another meeting at any time. Say goodbye for now in whatever way is appropriate, and allow yourself to come back to waking consciousness by walking up those stairs and counting upward from 1 to 10 as you close that door to your special place on your way out. When you reach the top of your staircase, become aware of your body once again. Become aware of your breath and become aware of your sankalpa. Remember the resolve that you made at the beginning of the practice. It is time to repeat your resolve, stating it to yourself 3 times with the same emphasis, that same confidence and positivity. Become aware of your breathing, of the natural breath. Become aware of the inhales through the nostrils, bringing you vitality, and the exhales as they bring you relaxation, as well as feeding our plant friends the same prana that feeds us in different forms. Develop total awareness of the breath, sensation of the belly, rib cage, and chest rising and sinking with every full inhale and exhale. Take a long, slow, deep breath and become aware of your relaxed body. Become aware of your physical existence. And without opening your eyes, develop awareness of your surroundings. The 4 walls around you, the ceiling and the floor, and your body lying on the floor. Your relaxed, radiant, pranic body in perfect stillness lying on the floor. We'll start to make small movements in preparation to sit up by running the thumb and the index finger together lightly, noticing the subtleties of the finger pads, of the oils on your fingers, bringing awareness to the physical body. Let the thumbs and middle fingers connect, and you'll bring the thumbs to each finger to bring a sense of awareness and touch to all 10 fingers of both hands. The practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. We'll take our time to sit up as there is no hurry. When you're ready, you'll roll to one side, maybe placing a pillow or your arm beneath your head. Pause in a fetal position. Fetal position is a representation of rebirth, of new beginnings. Place one hand to the heart and give yourself one sincere compliment. We'll use the strength of the arms to find an easy seat and push ourselves up, perhaps sitting on a block, a blanket, or a bolster. And we'll find a minute meditation here to end. Rolling the shoulders up, back, and down, maybe once or twice in either direction. We'll let the head get tall once again. Let the side bodies begin to grow. Place the hands onto the legs, face up or down, whatever feels natural. Take a full inhale through the nostrils. Exhale to sigh it out. I'll bring you out of this meditation in a minute. Maybe you bring that mantra, so hum. Uplift the chin just a centimeter. Lean the torso back an inch. So we have to hold ourselves up instead of slouching. We'll press the palms together in front of the heart, thumbs gently pressing against the chest, elbows reaching in opposite direction. We'll take 2 breaths to close, inhaling together through the nostrils. Exhale to release. Inhale through the nostrils. We'll hold it at the top. Relax the shoulders. Sip in a little bit more air. Exhale, stick out the tongue, release. Draw the thumbs to the forehead as a reminder to live in clear, loving thoughts. Thumbs to the lips for clear, loving communications. And thumbs to the heart for clear, loving actions. Thank you for letting me guide you through movement and Yoga Nidra. I hope you enjoyed.